Super weather.
Good Sunday morning. I'm meteorologist Brooke Martell. It was nice getting some relief from the heat yesterday, especially along the coastline. More of the same for your Sunday. But before we get to that, starting this day, we do have patchy dense fog along the coast over the valleys. I'll show you that visibility map in just a moment. And going back to Saturday, record heat once again. Many areas across the Inland Valley communities either tying or breaking new records, and the warming continues for this upcoming week. It's not looking like it'll be as hot as last week, but we're still trending above seasonal norms. So here's a look at that visibility map just before 6 a.m. on Sunday. You can see certain areas, not too bad, that visibility down to about 2.5 miles for Oceanside, Encinitas, but as we get into Mira Mesa, Miramar, we're closer to about a quarter mile, and you can see less than that if you're commuting along the 8 through El Cajon, and also limited visibility over La Mesa. We don't have a dense fog advisory in effect, but just something to be aware of throughout that morning commute wherever you're heading. Just make sure you're increasing your following distance and have those low beams turned on, and you want to slow down too. Here's a look at about 10 o'clock this morning. Certain areas could still have that patchy fog, especially along the coastline, Imperial Beach, but even up to Point Loma and Oceanside. But as we get into this afternoon, better chances for some of that clearing there. I want to talk about the highest daily max temperature records set or tied yesterday. So for Saturday, March 21st, you can see Escondido tied with its previous record back in 1931. Alpine, you can see, broke a new record, 88 degrees. Same thing with El Cajon. Both of those previous records set back in the 80s and 90s. And then you can see for Campo, new record set, previous one from 2004. Same thing with Borrego. So it was another warm afternoon. Back at the coastline for today, taking you out to La Jolla right around 7 o'clock. Cloudy skies. The clouds really do want to linger as we get into this afternoon, but do expect some periodic sunshine as well. Low rip current risk, wave heights from 1 to 3 feet. And taking a look at that water temperature too, still right around those low to mid 60s. And hour by hour for El Cajon, I showed you the visibility map. Foggy conditions there, even dense fog. So be careful again if you're driving through that area. But you can see heading into about 8, 9 o'clock, we still have some low 60s with the cloud cover. And then going into this afternoon, still looking at some clouds, but temperatures climbing into those upper 70s. So expect a mix of clouds today and some of that sunshine. For your area forecast, 60s and 70s up and down the coastline. We're trending a little bit cooler for areas like Oceanside, but slightly warmer as we head south towards La Jolla, Imperial Beach, and then downtown will be actually fairly close to those mid to upper 70s. Good mix of 80s for today over the Inland Valley communities. So again, continuing to get that relief from the heat compared to what we had last week, still trending above your seasonal norms. 70s over the mountains, upper 90s for Borrego Springs. So that's pretty nice getting out of triple digits. But take a look at your 10-day forecast, because by Monday, expecting more fog, and the temperatures near the coast pretty similar to what we have today. Same thing for the Inland Valley communities. And then we just gradually warm up by a few degrees getting into midweek. It could mean the return of those 80s for especially downtown, but then also some 90s back in the forecast for the Inland Valley community. So that means setting us up in some cases to be trending close to 20 degrees above the average. And the warming continues through Friday, and it looks like into Saturday as well, before it starts to break down and we start to cool a little bit by the end of next weekend and then into that following week. Here's a look at the mountain communities, 70s and 80s through the extended period, but it is possible, again, getting back into the 60s about 9 days from now. For the desert region, those temperatures will be hovering right around the upper 90s to about 100 degrees. But just like I mentioned with that cooling, you can see looking ahead to about a week from now, those daytime highs could be trending lower as well, closer to those 80s, maybe even seeing some 70s in the extended forecast. Have a great day.
Don't forget your umbrella.